O blood and water, which gushed forth from the heart of Jesus as a fount of mercy for us, I trust in you. Good morning, one and all. Good afternoon, good evening. It is leg day again. Happy Friday. Gonna be working on our squats. Snatch, clean, and jerk. I think I might add in some extra. Hang on now. Yo, chill, tripod. Chill, bro. You gotta take it easy, man. Some extra accessories towards the end. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever I feel like doing. When it comes to accessory work, I kind of just do what I want in the moment. What I feel is gonna be fun. And that's really it. But, yeah, that's on the agenda today. Yeah, what else? Just got out of Mass. It's good, man. Prayed the Divine Mercy Chaplet this time after the Mass, and it was good, man. I must say, being able to receive the Eucharist more than like once a week on Sundays is actually a game changer, dude. It really is. It makes everything so much better, man. Life in general. To let the Lord strengthen you in such an intimate way every day. Man, I wish I could go to daily Mass every day. I really do. It really is a game changer. I highly recommend that you try it out for yourself. The Lord wants you to. The Lord wants you to receive Him as often as possible. That's one thing that He's told me, not like verbally, but through like prayer and whatnot. He wants us to receive Him as much as possible, really. And so, I think the Lent season is the perfect season to do that too. So I invite you to do that. But, yeah, isn't it kind of crazy, man? How God works in mysterious ways. Especially when it comes to what we deal with and experience on a daily basis. Like the things that we see like in the moment when we're in the thick of it, we see the things as being that we're dealing with are like really bad, like suffering and like just really tough, really difficult. And it's like, man, I would want to be anywhere but here. I wish I was anywhere but here. I wish this never happened to me. Like, oh man, it sucks right now. But that's when God strengthens us the most, is in those moments. And I've been really reflecting on that this Lent. It's been the topic of prayer and reflection this year, mainly because it's been an issue for me in the past too, when it comes to tough, difficult moments in your life and like what to do in those moments and like how to persevere, because we're called to persevere in those moments. And it's been really put on my heart by God to really focus on suffering well. And so I'm hoping to share a little bit of that with you as well. How to suffer well, because I'm learning too. I'm not perfect. I'm no theologian. I'm no Catholic apologist. I'm just some regular dude who loves the gym and struggles with sin. So if somehow that relates to you, by all means, keep watching my content. But yeah, man. I've found the most personal development, like by far, by coming to the Catholic Church and really just practicing Catholicism. Like that's been like my biggest development personally in like character, in humility, and I think in excellence and magnanimity has got to be from the Catholic Church, from joining it, from practicing it. And so, if you want real personal development, join the Catholic Church. I'd love to see you. I do. I would. I'd love it. The Catholic Church is great. There's so much wisdom there, so many riches of knowledge. You have Christ in His fullness, man. The peace, the love that you feel, the family, like the family dynamic of the Catholic Church. The church triumphant that is in heaven, and the church militant, which is here on earth, which is you and me, if you're in the church, that is. We're all one gigantic family. And there's a lot of us to call on for help if you need to. We'll pray for you. Saints in heaven will pray for you. Just gotta let us know. But that does not mean that you can't pray to God. You obviously can. You don't need a mediator between you and Christ. You don't. But you're not alone in this. You can ask others to pray for you as well. Whatever you're going through, I'll pray for you. Let me know in the comments. What do you want me to pray for? What are you struggling with? What do you need help with? Because we all need help. That's for darn sure. And that's not going to change anytime soon. Not in this fallen world. There's evil around every corner. And in some ways, it feels like the evil's getting more and more prevalent. More deep. I would encourage you to stay hopeful. Stay true. There's a reason to be hopeful in these moments. Oh, I think I took a wrong turn. I totally did. I took a wrong turn. I'm not paying attention. I'm getting into my sermon for the day. But actually, it's quite beautiful back here. This is a golf course. There's a lot of golf courses in Florida. But that's cool. That just means I can talk more. But yeah, the Catholic Church can help you so much with whatever you're going through, because there's so much of us and we're one family. We can all pray for you. We all help you. And you just get Christ in all of his glory. And you get to discover who you are as a person with him. Like discovering who you are as like a real individual. I'm going to do a you here. A real individual that God created you to be. Because I feel like our sin can kind of muddy the waters and kind of suppress who we are and who we were created to be. And you're really... C.S. Lewis said something in Mere Christianity. It's going to be very paraphrased because it's been a long time since I've read this. But when you put on Christ, you become more of yourself. You become more of the personality that you truly are, that God truly created you to be. And I find that extremely, well, true and useful, because I have personally experienced this, where you put on Christ, you start practicing more of the faith. Oh, yep, we're getting a little crazy here. These, yeah, there's a lot of roundabouts here, man. A lot of roundabouts. Let me see if I can't fix this. A little bit here. A lot of roundabouts here. Yeah, I gotta fix my setup here. But, lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? Damn. You hate it when that happens. But, suffice it to say, the Catholic Church would love you, and you get all the peace and support you need in God. Yeah, beautiful time. Oh yeah, C.S. Lewis. Yes, C.S. Lewis. You become more of yourself when you put on Christ. And I've experienced that firsthand, where you're practicing more of the faith, and you become more lively, if that makes sense. You're more alive. You're more true to yourself, because you're not hiding from yourself anymore, because you're not hiding from the truth anymore. You're not running from anything, because you finally have what you've been looking for in Christ. You know, that Christ-shaped hole? So, he informs your personality, he informs your life, because he is the life giver. He is your life. I am in you, and you are in me. That's what Christ said himself. Like, he is the essence of us. The Holy Spirit, who gives us life and breath. Let him possess you. Let him take you where he wants you to go. Let him develop you how he wants you to be developed. Let him mold you. And then you'll be the free person that you want to be. You will truly be free. right? Like, there's nothing free about being a slave to your sinful desires. That's not true freedom. True freedom is being able to control yourself and to abstain. And when you don't have these sins hanging over your head all the time, or the urges, I mean, some of the urges will always be there, right? But you'll always, once you spend enough time away from them, you can actually develop the ability to control yourself and control your urges and to say no. And when you develop that skill, because it is a skill that needs to be developed, you're not going to have it right away, you will become free. And Christ is the truest essence of this, true freedom, because he will give you the strength to overcome. I would argue that without Christ, we couldn't truly overcome our sinful desires. There's no way. So with him is true freedom. But don't take it from me. I mean, I'm one guy in the faith. I'm not the only one. Everybody who believes and lives the life probably has the exact same experience and exact same thing to say, but don't just take it from me. Listen to other Catholic personalities, Christian personalities. They don't have to be simply Catholic. I would recommend Catholicism. But no, it's true Christ. And so I highly recommend that. But enough chit chat, we got a workout to do. So I will see you guys at the gym. Peace and God bless.
All right, guys, we are back with back squats. As you'll see here in a bit, I upped my tempo a little bit from the last week, really. I was going really slow, and now I increased the speed a little bit on the descent. And it made the reps much easier. So these reps, or these sets, I should say, felt much less physically taxing. But yeah, the reps look really good. They felt really good. My knees felt good. All in all, great exercise. Honestly, I felt it the most in my lower back, which never usually happens, but I've noticed that I've been pretty taxed in the posterior chain, probably to do with the simple fact that yesterday, the day before this session, was pretty bad in terms of nutrition. I ate like shit, and I didn't get a lot of sleep either. So it's probably the reason why I was a little bit more taxed, fatigued today. I just don't think I recovered properly. But these still felt pretty good. I don't really feel the fatigue much until the Olympic lifts later. But this squat is an incredible exercise for lower body strength and power, athleticism. Really fantastic lift. This is why you see a lot of it in sports performance. Again, I do want to reiterate, if you want to get the most out of this exercise, you definitely want to move through the full range of motion, really get to the bottom of that squat, past parallel, and explode up. If you want to maximize hypertrophy, what I would do is slow on the way down. So slow down the tempo a little bit more than this tempo is for me right now, and explode with the same amount of speed upwards. And next up, we got the power snatches again. Today, the first set I did 4 as usual, but then, like I said, I was feeling it a little bit in the lower back. A lot of lower back fatigue there. Not a lot, just a little bit, but enough for me to want to reduce the amount of volume I was going to do with the lower back because I had full clean and jerks after this, so I wanted to make sure I had enough left in the tank to perform those properly. So on the 2 remaining sets, I only did 3 reps. But again, really focusing on speed here, really moving through the reps here, not taking much time in between each rep, not taking much time to rest in between each set, really focusing on work capacity and power production, right? Still staying in the 3 rep range there. And for the rest of the video, I apologize, guys. I completely screwed up my shutter speed on my camera, so the footage is going to be a little choppy. Yeah, sorry about that. Just pretend we're back in 2008. But anyway, we are back with the full clean and jerks. Again, staying at 135. Want to just maintain form here. Really focusing on form. Really focusing on not taking too much time in between each rep and sets. Like as usual, same with the squats. Same with the snatches prior. Working on a little bit of endurance while still being able to maintain a high power output. Yeah, really just focusing on athleticism. I feel like really focusing on these exercises all the time, never really putting them off, really helps me with my injury prevention and lowering my injury risk. Simply just by being more athletic too, but also staying very familiar with the movement pattern as well. The full clean and jerk variation that you're seeing here is a little bit more of a difficult variation than, let's say, like a power clean and jerk, or just like a power clean in general. I would highly recommend that people try the power clean and then maybe like a push press, maybe not necessarily a jerk. That could be kind of difficult if you don't know where your footing should be and if you don't have like a proper foundation in terms of a power output. But like the push press and the power clean is actually a very easy, not an easy way, but a very effective way to actually improve your power output and athleticism. And it's an easier movement pattern than, say, like a full clean, where you got to get into that full range of motion deep into that squat there and catch it. But I highly recommend that people of all ages really kind of focus on that kind of movement pattern, whether it be with a barbell. That's going to be the hardest variation, obviously, but you can easily do the same thing with a dumbbell and just do like a dumbbell variation. Very effective and very helpful for improving athleticism and decreasing injury risk as you age. And I finish off with the pen lay row. Just felt like doing them again. I really love this exercise. Really feel it in all the right places in the back. Felt the hypertrophy, felt the activation. Kept the tempo about the same as usual. Up the weight to 135. Went up, slowed down a little bit more controlled on the way down on the descent there. Really helped with the stretch at the bottom too. Really helped to feel that pump in the back. Really focusing on activating the muscles in the lower back. Not the lower back, the upper back. Yeah, again, like I said, I don't want to load these too heavy, especially with all the other lower back exercises that I'm doing. It's just an accessory, so it's there to help strengthen everything else.
That sucked. Well, not all of it, but the last part. I did tempo runs on the treadmill at like 12 miles an hour, but I threw the incline all the way up and I just sprinted for about 20 seconds, took 40 seconds off. Holy shit, man. That was brutal. But the rest of the training session went well. The squats felt really good, upping the tempo. They definitely felt easier, but that was to be expected. When you're going super slow like that, it takes a lot out of you per rep. So it's easier to bust them out with the same amount of weight. So those felt really good. The Olympic lifts felt pretty good too, though I'm starting to feel a little bit of fatigue in the backside, like the lower back. Nothing crazy, it's just I'm now starting to notice it a little bit more, which usually means I should maybe take a little bit of time off it, or at least reduce volume a little bit. But I have 2 days of rest here, so yeah, that'll help a lot. I'll probably be all right. But yeah, I did end up throwing in some more pen lay rows towards the end there. I told you I was gonna kind of see what I felt like doing, and yeah, I love them things, man. I really feel them in the back when I really focus on the back muscles contracting. And yeah, I felt a decent back pump. Went up a little bit in weight from 115 to 135. Again, it's an auxiliary. I'm not trying to up the weight to like 225 and really go hard. That's just way too much on the lower back. I'm already doing a lot. As you can see, 3 days a week of literally squat, snatch, and clean and jerk. It can be pretty taxing on the posterior chain, lower back. So last thing I need is more heavy lower back stuff. Like I might do some like body weight back extensions at some point because I really do like those. But right now there's just no need for much else right now. In fact, I probably need to do some more upper body work. I did do a little bit of push presses on those clean and jerks, as you saw. Just felt like it again. But yeah, body's feeling good, knees are feeling good. I can't complain. Glory to Christ. Gonna go home, get some food. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna eat since it's Friday. It's probably gonna be sardines because they're great sources of omega-3 fatty acids, and maybe it's a hot take, but I like them. I like the taste. The ones I get at Aldi are okay. They're not the best. The best ones are the ones that are in olive oil. And there's only like 3 ingredients, like sardines, the extra virgin olive oil, and like salt or something. But like, you gotta watch out, man. Like, even canned fish like that have like a ton of ingredients in them that just like doesn't make sense. Maybe it's like for preservatives and whatnot, but you don't want that. You don't want any of that. The sardines I eat just have water and sardines in them. It's good. It's all you need. If you like that sort of thing. Some of y'all don't. Some of my family does not like that. So I get it. But beggars can't be choosers. I would love to, more than anything, eat a luscious pound of A515 grass-fed ground beef. Like I usually do. But it's alright. We must transition. Throw myself out of the loop, you know? It's good. It's gonna do that. Just realized my turn signal was on that entire time. The person behind me is probably like, what the hell is this guy's problem? Now I'm starting to drive like most people down here. That's not a good thing, man. But yesterday kind of sucked. I think one of the reasons why I felt a little bit more fatigued in my posterior chain today was because yesterday was kind of bad. I ate like shit. I had some ice cream and I didn't sleep well either. So that's probably a lot to do with it. But it's one day. Who cares? I'll get better today. Maybe. It's hard with family over, but usually when I'm on point doing my own thing, I usually don't ever deviate at all. It's just easier not to deviate, less you have to think about. You know what you're gonna eat, you know how to cook it, and you just do it. Some days, some mornings, I'll prep my food for the day, and I'll think later in the day, like after I'm about to leave for the workout, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to make food. And then I realize, oh wait, I did do that. I'm just so used to it, I don't even think about it anymore. I can do it in my sleep, proverbially. Proverbially? Figuratively? I can almost do it in my sleep. Anyway, that's going. I gotta figure out a way to, because I do notice that on days where I fast from meat, I definitely do feel a little more tired the day after, and like later on in the day. It makes sense, right? I'm just not eating as many calories because of it. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that, because I don't want to replace it with like shit carbs, you know? Or like junk food. Like other protein sources. Like I got new protein bars. And I did get some like this weird grass-fed beef jerky that tastes really good but is completely useless today. So it's like, what am I gonna do? So that's that. But other than that, got 2 days off, and then we'll get back to it. I think next week I'm going to do 2 days where I up the tempo in the squat, and then like maybe that Wednesday in between I might do like a lighter weight, slower moving squat session, just to be able to maintain the quad activation. Because the moment I start getting like really heavy all of a sudden, that goes out the window for some reason. And I'm not gonna jump to like 315, hell no. But I gotta really be careful when I start increasing the tempo in the squats and keep getting heavier, keep adding weight. It tends to, for some reason, like I tend to just completely squat with my lower back. Like I am very lower back dominant. It's way stronger than my legs are, and so I gotta really be careful when I get heavier, because I'm trying to redo my squat form and I can't do that. I can't do that in a quick amount of time, right? I have to be really patient, and I'm not a patient individual, so it's hard. I want to lift 225. I want to get heavier because I know I can lift heavier, but just because you can lift heavier doesn't mean that you should. Because again, we're trying to do things right. There's a hell of a lot of ways to do something wrong, especially when it comes to squats, but there's only one right way to do it, and you gotta do it right, or don't do it at all. It's the same mindset with every exercise. There's one way to do it right, a million ways to do it wrong. Now, it's not always that complicated, right? Like, more often than not, you're gonna kind of, the right form in an exercise is usually the one that feels the most comfortable. Like, you can almost kind of feel your way around the movement, right? For the most part. It helps to have like a personal trainer or somebody who knows what they're doing to kind of help coach you through the movement if you're brand new to it. I get that. I understand. Especially in the beginning, you want to make sure you're doing something right. You're doing everything right. And so it's easier to scale when you're doing everything right from the get-go, you know? You're not spinning your wheels at all. I was fortunate enough to have a lot of that coaching in high school when I was in sports. Obviously we had coaches that coached us through the movements, and of course they weren't perfectly coaching us through the movements, but it was enough, you know? It was enough. And then you kind of get better over time once you start developing the musculature and the nervous system starts to get used to the motor patterns, and you almost kind of like fit into the proper form over time because you slowly start to like feel your way around the movement until it feels very comfortable, and that's basically when you have the form. It's easier that way when it comes to like some of the strength movements like the squat, bench, and stuff like that. Not exactly the same for Olympic lifts like the snatch and the clean and jerk. Those are so technical that you would definitely need a coach for sure. Like, the only reason I'm not being coached right now was because I spent literally my entire life since I was 13 years old doing a lot of the Olympic style lifting. So, except for snatch, obviously, I told you that. But I already had like the athleticism and the kinesthetics to be able to do that without hurting myself, and the mobility, by the way. Kinesthetics is just like another word for like spatial awareness, like your awareness of your body in space. Proprioception too. Well, your kinesthetic awareness is like how coachable you are, I guess is a better way to put it. But yeah, all's well as ends well. Other than that, yeah. What else do I have for you guys? How are you guys doing? How's your training sessions going? How's your Lent going? Struggling yet? I know I am. Sort of. It's like a good struggle. Because like struggling isn't always a bad thing. In my opinion, struggling in life is actually the best thing. Hear me out. Hear me out. Struggling makes you stronger. Now you can let the struggle of life break you down, or you can persevere through it, push through it, and get stronger. Struggling in life gets you stronger. And the stronger you are, the more free you are. There's this Navy SEAL on the internet, which some of you might know, some of you might not. His name is Jocko Willink. He's actually pretty popular. He says something that really resonates with me personally. He says it's basically his whole motto: discipline equals freedom. And he's right. When you can have the self-control to deny all of your sensual urges and stay disciplined in doing the daily tasks that you know will get you where you want to go, or the tasks that will get you stronger, you truly have freedom, because you're not a slave to your urges anymore. You're not a slave to comfort, right? It doesn't hold you anymore. It doesn't hold you in bondage. And so you're more free to make decisions that you want to make with your life, because you're better able to handle discomfort. And so, yeah, I love the struggle. I love the struggle bus. I do. I love discomfort. And it doesn't mean it doesn't really make the struggling better, but it's always that initial step into the struggle that sucks. Like, once you're in the struggle, you're fine. But it's like the moment you're entering from outside of it and entering into it, that's the tough part. And that's what you get better at. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Right? I mean, this happens all the time. You're dreading doing something, and then all of a sudden when you're like smack dab in the middle of it, you're like, okay, I can do this, I feel good. It's like a workout, you know what I mean? Like, you're ever in a workout, you're heading to a workout, or maybe it's like after a day of work, and you're like, shit, I really don't want to do this right now. But you do it anyway, and then you're like in the middle of the workout, and you're like, okay, I can do this, I feel good. Like, it happens to all of us, you know? It's basically that. It's always that initial transition from comfort to discomfort that's like the hardest. But like once you're in the thick of things, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. I like the struggle, man. Struggling sucks so good. Anyway, I'm gonna get some food. Again, no mass readings for you guys. I'm sorry. It's just too much going on in the house. I got a lot of people over, and it's hectic. So I'll get back to that at the end of next week, probably. That's when they leave. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. I like making it. Let's push through. Let's win the day together. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace and God bless.